how did you come up with the idea for TampaBayGay.com?
So 20 years ago, we didn't have the internet like we have today.
I love that question too, because it's one of those things where people don't actually expect this answer.
So for me, I was totally on board until you said where you worked, you gave your address, and then you included your boss.
But at the same time, I do believe I do agree with Dave here
how it was discovered, because it wasn't like he was sharing this publicly.
This is Common Courtesy, a conversation on modern society from an LGBTQ plus perspective. A talk show for working LGBTQ plus individuals and allies who are active in their own communities and who also wish to stay woke about what's happening in today's world. With your host, Sean Nicholas.
I'm still sour for not winning this little acting award in high school. I'm still sour.
Angelique Young.
I can't do the caged bird thing. It's not in my thing. I'm literally, my symbol is a freaking half man.
And Ivan Alexander.
Oh, I need to change this. No, you can't change this. Okay? Before Gaga, I was born this way. Okay?
This is Common Courtesy.
That was doomed from the start.
And shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Around Sue's or whatever, and
No, that was me.
but that's our stereo.
So, let's start the conversation.
Hey guys, and welcome back. This is Common Courtesy TV, a conversation on modern society from an LGBTQ plus perspective. I am your host and moderator, Sean Nicholas, and here with me, I have my awesome co-host. We have nightclub entertainer and show director. We have Angelique Young.
Hey everybody, hi. Welcome. I'm so happy to be back. Another week on the books. Gonna be a good time.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're missing Ivan. Hopefully he's doing okay, because, you know, right now Florida is preparing for Hurricane Ian. I am asking everyone to kind of be safe, you know what I mean? And, you know, follow the instructions. If you're in an evacuation zone, get out of the way, stay up to date. I like to stay up to date with the National Weather Service. If you can find that, you can find that website at weather.gov. So just stay up to date, stay safe, don't be crazy. You know, but Angelique, how are you doing this week?
I'm doing good. I'm in a safe zone. I'm in a safe area, closer towards the center of Florida, so I'm out of harm's way and just hunkering down with my family. Other than that, things have been going great. Thank you for asking.
Same. You know, we're doing okay over here too. But I kind of wanted to ask you, because it's kind of been like getting a lot of buzz and backlash about the Jeffrey Dahmer Netflix series starring Evan Peters and Niecy Nash. I kind of wanted to get a little backstory before we bring our guests on, because today we have Blue Dream, winner of Closet Ball 2022, coming up. We're going to talk to her about Closet Ball and her career. And also we have our sponsor. We have Dave Borman of TampaBayGay.com as well. We're going to talk to him, and they're also going to join us for Hot Topics. But I wanted to ask you about that, Angelique. So how did you feel about this Netflix series?
You know, I love a good horror movie. I love a good horror show. I like learning about, you know, the inner workings of someone's mind, right? Because for the most part, all horror is fictional. But in this particular instance, this is a real life, true horror story. This is something that happened to a lot of people. And just learning about all the things that happened to him and all the just mishaps within the justice system, and how he kind of constantly just got away with stuff. It was just really eye-opening. But overall, like, the series itself left me a little bit shook, a little bit more caring about myself and the situations I put myself in, and how often I have been in very bad situations. It's very eye-opening, because it's bad how easy it was, you know? But you have to watch it. You have to see it all the way through. They do a wonderful job at keeping it real. They do a wonderful job at helping you understand what happened, understanding some of the turmoil that some of the victims went through. They picked if anybody knows the story about him and about what kind of victims he picked, the show depicts a few victims in good light. It does a very good job at showing you the
Which is what
beautiful
they
side of
should
some
do
of the
because they
victims.
are victims. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
like I'm
and
shook too.
there's a couple in general, but the two that stand out the most is the young man who's a part of an Asian family and a young man who's deaf, and you get a sense of who they are, and you fall in love with them. And if there's any romanticizing that happens in this entire series, it is with the victims, 100%. And even the role of that Niecy Nash plays of Glenda, she is absolutely magnanimous in the show. Truly a wonderful actress. Like it was good. I really enjoyed it thoroughly. It was a little disturbing, but in the same hand, it was really good.
I'm still in the middle of it. I haven't finished it yet, but from what I saw, oftentimes when they do, I love, watching things about serial killers, and Jeffrey Dahmer is someone I studied because I found it just not fascinating, but interesting how he did get away with killing so many people and no one knew about it. And, Niecy Nash's character, from what I saw, she kind of exemplifies a lot of people in our community, minorities. She's calling all the time. There's something going on. And then even the people that he picked were minorities. We saw how like easy it was just like, oh, this is happening. This like with the Asian guy, when they let him go with him again. I read about that, and the one thing I think they did well was they didn't romanticize the character, because if you think about it, there's a reason why these people went with them. This is real life, and we were talking earlier, you're saying you wish he wasn't so attractive, but let's be honest, I think he was fairly attractive, and so was Ted Bundy, and that is a part of the psychological thing. They weren't ugly people, so it was kind of a part of their lure for that. So I think that part of it is not, I don't think people should really pay attention to that, because like I said, there's a lot of motif that's played in it. Like I said, with Niecy Nash's character, it represents a lot of people in our community, especially the gay community. When we call about things, it's like, oh, well, two gay people are like having an argument. We're not going to get into the middle of it, but I don't want to run out of time. That's all I had to say about that. But anything else you got? Or
no, just that I agree with you. Yeah, I think that there's a part of it that the internet has taken to, and saying that, don't romanticize it because of Evan Peters being in the role. Don't romanticize Jeffrey Dahmer. I've seen a lot of people reach out, and for those of you who don't know, Jeffrey Dahmer was murdered in jail by a black man. And people said that was vindication, and people said that was like a thing, and they even like started posting his information, and they wanted people to like send him gifts and stuff like that. And you realize, if you watch the show, Jeffrey Dahmer got gifts and got letters and things like that. And I'm like, you're doing the same thing for someone who's a killer. It's what do they say? Like cutting off your nose to spite your face. The reality is that in the sick world that we live in, that was like a karmic kind of justice. But I think that the reality is that this is a real story. This really happened. These people really were affected. And his journey is just a huge it's like a billboard to how the justice system works, to how easily it was for him to do that as a man who was white and living in the neighborhoods he lived in. They overlooked so many things each time a cop came by. Even the voice recordings, which are undeniable recordings of how these officers looked at the case and how they handled it, how people had homophobia issues. It was like really, really big. I recommend everyone should watch it. It's not the best thing, but it is a really good representation of a lot of things if you see it for what it really is. And I'll leave it at that.
All right, we'll be right back. All right, so we had a little break, and like I said, Florida's going through. We're preparing for Hurricane Ian, and no matter when you listen to this video, hopefully if it's before it hits, please get out of the way if you're in the way of what's going on, and stay up to date with the trusted news source. All right, so our first guest is not only our proud sponsor, but has been a source for LGBTQ plus news and entertainment for the Bay Area now for over 20 years. Please welcome to our panel for the first time, owner of Tampa Bay Gay Com,
Dave Borman.
Dave, how are you this week?
I'm doing good. Good. Kind of doing the same thing as you guys are, kind of hunkering down, just trying to make sure that, I'm in a safe spot. We have a generator, plenty of fuel, plenty of food. So if anything happens, we're good to go. But doing really good.
Absolutely.
Glad to be here.
And we're glad to have you, and thank you for your sponsorship. Like, is honestly, we've been doing this for a long time, and having someone recognizing us and recognize that is a really big thing. So thank you so much. Let's get to our interview.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Let's get to our interview. Angelique, you're first.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Dave, I'm super excited to have you. Thank you for being a sponsor. But I want to know if you do us the honor and our audience the honor of just telling us a little bit about your backstory and about who you are, how you came to be, and all those kinds of wonderful things.
Sure. So I pretty much lived in the Bay Area most of my life. I came out in my 20s. I've worked in radio and TV since I was probably about 13 or 14 years old, carried that through to about 22, 23, and decided that between TV and radio, I had to get out of that business. It was too cutthroat. People were just nasty to each other. It would literally push you down the steps. Like I always tell people, it's like the movie Showgirls, where she gets pushed down the steps to get the role. I said it's exactly like that. Like they will do vicious things to get what they want, just to get a little bit ahead of you. And I'm just not built that way. So I kind of withdrew from that a little bit, got into the internet business, managed a online entertainment and adult entertainment website. Pretty much we processed credit cards for adult sites on the internet. We were the third largest in the country. And at 4 years and 50 weeks, 2 weeks before I was fully vested in the company, I was fired. So I had brought a gay division of the adult website. I brought a whole gay division that brought them a little over $1 million a year. And let me go. Found my job the next day on the internet for $8.50 and $8.50 an hour. And I decided that, you know what, it's time to do this and what I like and what I want on my own terms. And that started me in the path and what I have now.
Hell yeah.
Yay. So basically you're in this situation, you end up in a spot, you get to follow your dreams, which I'm a huge fan of as an entrepreneur myself. So how did you come up with the idea for TampaBayGay.com?
Okay, so, well, mind you, we got to go back 20 years. So 20 years ago, we didn't have the internet like we have today. And for me, the biggest problem that I had was when I went on the internet, the only thing that I could find was adult-related materials. That doesn't help me when I want to go to a church, or I want to find an attorney, or I want to find somebody, or I want to find what's going on in the community. Where did I have to go? I had to go to a gay club to find out that information. And that really disturbed me that there's no resource out there for our community unless you go to a gay club. Well, what if you're closeted? What if you can't get to that area? What if you don't have a vehicle? What if there was no resource other than adult content? So what really urged me, especially being out of that business, leaving that business, I was like, you know what? There's so much of that on the internet. That's one thing I want to stay away from. And that's one thing I'm going to stay away from. And then I started saying, well, what's out there? What's out there? There's some national stuff, on a larger scale, but nothing local. And you'd go out and you'd go to the back pages of the magazines and you'd see all these advertisers. And it's like, why am I only seeing them here? Why can't I see them why can't I have another place for them to find this? So that's when I started the website, Tampa Bay Gay. And I just started, basically, in that day, it was link sharing. And I'd go to a business, I'd say, hey, this is my name, this is my objection, this is what I want to do. Will you put my website link on your website, and I'll put your link on my website, and we can help and move forward. I never charged people back in the day. I just wanted to have that resource for the community. HIV testing, where you can, find an attorney if you need it, if you've been done wrong at work, or any of those things. There just wasn't a resource out there other than like the alternative yellow pages. But once again, you had to go to a gay club to get that information. So the website was developed, and now we proudly serve about 35 to 45,000 people a month on our front page, about 10,000 to 15,000 on our internal pages. And we are still 21 years in the making. We are still making, thankfully, and I appreciate everyone's votes, the Watermark Wave Awards, still in the top 3 after 21 years. So thank you to the community, and I'm so glad that my dream is actually helping others and getting out to others.
Awesome. Just not to lose time, I'm gonna get to the next question. So you're just at, so one of the things that you do, you're out in the community seeing what's going on, and I saw you on True Tea at Pride on the River. Can you just tell us a little bit about that experience?
Sure. Well, True Tea, first of all, True Tea, we're all over the place. I know we've talked about it. I'm a sponsor of that show as well. I'm also a producer for the show. So we really enjoy being out in the community, talking about the community, and being at Pride on the River was it was awesome. We were in the Diamond Lounge. We were able to, see a lot of the celebrities, a lot of the guest RuPaul Drag Race girls were there. So it was really, really cool to kind of for me, I like the fun aspect of these events. They're fun, they're free, they come out, they bring one of the girls, real quick story, one of the girls that came out with us had a young daughter with her who was very introverted, didn't care to hang out with people, do anything. Well, it was their prom night or homecoming night. She skipped homecoming to go to Pride on the River, met one of her friends there, one of her dads brought one of her friends there. She had the most fabulous time that she's ever had in her life. She loved it so much. Her mother said her daughter was so ecstatic about it. And she's like, all I can do is tell my daughter, you have my support, you have my love. And I was like, I get goosebumps thinking about it now, because it just gives me that. It's like, there are families out there that are loving, no matter what the situation is. 20 years, it might be a whole different story, but right now we love you. We love you for who you are. And in 20 years, we're going to love you too. And that's what those kind of events that have those kind of reactions are what the most important to me.
Absolutely. And, I had an experience like that at St. Pete Pride myself, just seeing the family aspect and knowing that you have the support of the community. The next question we have for you is, you kind of answered that a little bit. How has your work benefited small businesses and the community?
I think the one thing that I've tried to do since the beginning is really give small businesses the opportunity. I know that there's print media out there still that, they charge a lot of money to advertise in these magazines. And the thing to me is, how can a small business afford, to put one ad for 1 month might be their whole advertising campaign for the whole year. And then it's like, and how is that fair? I mean, yes, I understand the concept of print media. People grab it, take it with them, 10,000 copies. I understand. I get that concept. But can you tell me what page they went to look for this ad? Can you tell me how long they were looking for this ad? What were they going into? Website, we can develop that. We can push that. We can promote that. And that's just something that we can very much target our community. So I think that the one thing is that they come to us looking for, I want to find an attorney. Well, guess what? We're not going to give you the big M&M number. We're going to give you our little friend in St. Pete, that deals with the LGBTQ community and focuses on them, understands what we want, understands what our needs are, understands that, if we're going through a domestic thing or if we're going through a financial thing, I can go to you and understand, you're going to understand that this isn't a husband and wife situation. This isn't this is a much different situation.
There's different angles
names,
to it.
Listen, the big names aren't going to know it. Our local people, the people that are in our community that give for us and do for us, they're the ones that are going to know. And that's who we need to support.
Now that we've talked about how you've helped the community and what you've done for small businesses and stuff like that, now we want to know, what's a current community issue that, you wish you could change?
I think I think it's the support of our local small businesses. I think
Mm.
we in the gay community, I mean this in the most respectful way, I think that we tend to favor places and go to the same place and stay in our same bubble. And I think there's all aspects of that. I mean, you have the bear community that goes there, you have the leather community that goes there, and there's still a lot of separation. And I think that, well, listen, we're all fighting the same fight. We're all trying to make a safe space for everyone. And I think that even if it means, you know what, let's all go together. Let's get a group of 5 of us together and we'll go to the leather night, or we'll go to the brand new bar that just opened, or we'll go to, let's go check out a restaurant that's not, maybe they're not LGBTQ plus, but they're allies to our community. Go there, show our support, give them the money. Screw this chick full of la 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 la. I don't even want to tell their name.
Yeah.
Screw them. Go to a good place that's a local. Give them the money, give them the attention, give them the credit. And you know what? Go on Yelp and rate them. Tell people this place is great, and be honest. Don't just if the place is bad, be honest. But be supportive. Try to get out there and be supportive. And I think that's the biggest thing with our community is just getting out there, showing our businesses, our LGBTQ small businesses, that we are here. We're here to spend our money with you. We're here to give our support to you, and do it. Don't speak about it. Do it.
Okay, and I have the final question. We just ran out of time, but
Sure.
So what's coming up in the Bay Area? Just what's coming up on the horizons?
Okay. Well, I'll tell you right now, October is a huge month. If you want to travel down to Fort Lauderdale, you can do the Outshine Film Festival. If you want to stay right here in the Tampa Bay area, we have the Tampa International Gay and Lesbian Film Festival. We have, if you're into haunted houses, we have Busch Gardens, Hallow Scream. You also have Undead in the Water 5, the Gathering, which is the World War II ship that is docked in Tampa. And that's in Sparkman's Wharf. We just went for media night. That was a great time. There's foodie events coming, Savor St. Pete. There's, you can always catch the replays of True Tea, Common Courtesy now, and also Josh Bryan and Esme's Big Gay Radio Show. And then, of course, Blue Dream will tell you more, but we have Closet Ball coming up on October 9th in Hamburger Mary's.
All right, guys.
There's a lot.
There's a lot going on. So thank you so much for this interview. We'll see you back, Dave, for Hot Topics. But like you said, there's a lot of events coming up in our Bay Area. And for more information about those, please visit TampaBayGay.com, Tampa Bay's award-winning source for LGBTQ plus news and entertainment website. We'll see you guys back here in just a moment. Yes, and we are back, folks. All right, so let's get to our next guest, who is making waves in the Bay Area drag scene and snatching up crowns like last year's Closet Ball pageant, and she is on the rise. Please welcome to our panel for first time winner of Closet Ball 2022, Blue Dream.
Hello. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. I've been waiting to be here.
Welcome, and thank you for being here. I hope you're doing, really well right now, because I know we have this little hurricane coming on. Are you're safe over there? Yes.
I am good. It is me, my boyfriend, a bottle of wine, and Netflix, so we are perfectly fine over here.
Let's get into this
done right.
Sounds like a perfect recipe for positive vibes. All right, let's get into this interview. I didn't know I was going with that. All right, let's get our interview. All right, so I have the first question. So, Blue, how did you get your start in performing?
Well, I was always actually terrified of the stage, believe it or not, from what everyone's seen. However, I used to be a bar back at a little tiny bar in Newport Richey called the Asylum. And they had a turnabout night, and after that, of course, your girl did her job. And after that, everyone was like, oh, I believe that you should just regularly be a drag queen. And again, I was terrified of the stage. I don't do anything public. I barely even do karaoke. So for me to do drag, I was like, oh my goodness. But started going to those different talent nights, Hamburger Mary's was one when they had theirs. Christoph's used to have one. Enigma has one still on Wednesdays. I went to Fresh Start at Cocktail now on Wednesdays as well. And just got seen from that point forward, and wanted to expand after a while, so I moved to Tampa.
Okay, all right.
And now she's here.
And now she here.
Okay. She's here.
So let's get to our next question. I love Fresh Start with Adriana Sparkle. All right, so let's get to the next one. Who in your life do you draw the most inspiration from? We go there.
I love that question too, because it's one of those things where people don't actually expect this answer. I grew up in the suburbs. However, I was dropped off at my grandmother's house, which was definitely in a hood. So anything that has to do with a good ratchet time has been my inspiration, to be completely honest with you. The definition of bad and bougie has been her motive and her motto, since she started. So to be honest, it's girls like Beyonce all the way down to Cardi B, to be completely honest with you.
Hey, Angelique.
Love it. So for some people might not understand what a closet ball is. They may not know. I personally know. I have been a judge at them before, and I've been invested in them before. So can you tell our audience, what is a closet ball?
Yes. So Closet Ball is a pageant system ran by Raquel Blue and Rocka Productions. And with that, you have 4 different categories. There is you as who you are, so as I am right now. And then you have your transformation, which you treat as gown, basically. And your transformation, you have 1 complete hour to be able to go ahead and get yourself from your everyday who you are to your drag persona. And you cannot touch yourself. That was the best part of the whole thing. You cannot get yourself dressed. You have to trust someone else to do it. And then after that, you have question and answer. And then you have talent, of course. And then there's crowning. And but Closet Ball is a very good system to get into when you are officially starting drag, because the where I have gone since winning the crown of Closet Ball still surprises me to this day.
Okay, well, since you started tiptoeing around that window, come on and tell us how your progress has been. Tell us where you're going. Talk to us about some of them things. Whatever's come to that from that, it's a great honor for those who don't know, winning a pageant in general. So having won this one and being kind of like your slingshot into the drag world,
Very much so.
What progress has gone. You can tell us some of your biggest things, whatever case may be.
The bookings have gone up. I can definitely say that. I have met a lot of people, have made a lot of networking connections. People like you, Angelique, honestly, I have met through different situations. And then because of knowing people like you, I have actually also been on the news. So I honestly say everything stems from the decision that I made to go ahead and join the Closet Ball system. Yeah. And actually being able to win. There has been a lot of different opportunities that honestly we don't have time to mention. But me being able to go ahead and take it from a literal dream to her being a known Blue Dream name is still crazy to me.
Yeah, just to do a shameless plug, people can catch you on stage this Sunday at Angelique's Sunday, as you are one of my headline performers. So I'm super excited to have you and introduce you to my crew and everything like that. So that's definitely a thing, and I would not have ever known about you if it wasn't for Closet Ball. So that is definitely the reason why I found out about you. So shameless plug, y'all can come on down and see a little piece of Blue Dream this Sunday at 2 at Show Bar in Newport City. Yes, 2 p.m.
Let's roll to the next question. What would you like your work to do for your community? Let me repeat that. What would you like for your work to do for the community? We at the pageant right now.
And question and answer.
1 second. Thank you for that question. In response to the question of what I would love to see happen in my community, I would love to say that I am a firm believer in Black excellence. I do believe that we do need to see more Black drag queens on the stage more often, and we also need to make it known that we are not always catty, we are just assertive.
Hello.
And in
Hello.
question and answer, I am Blue Dream. Thank you.
And Angie, you have the next one.
Yes, for this one, just what's the biggest issue facing our Tampa Bay area for the LGBTQ plus community? What do you think the biggest issue is?
Sometimes, honestly, I swear that we don't like each other. We claim that we like each other, but we don't act like we like each other. I can honestly say when I walk into a room, I try to say hello to everyone, make everyone feel as if that they know me and I know them. But there has been plenty of times that I've seen other individuals walk into rooms where they're known by half the community, but yet half the community is not speaking to them because of a simple altercation with someone else. And for me, that's kind of like, I'm not the type to pick and choose who I'm going to speak to. I'm either going to speak to you because I like you, or I'm not going to speak to you because I don't like you. But you definitely will know the difference. But I sometimes feel as if not everyone likes each other the way that they should. It's very simple.
So we got a little
That's
time.
interesting.
I'm gonna dig into that real fast.
I was gonna say that kind of
Okay.
sounds like something that Dave said earlier about how the little clicks happen and stick together.
I just want to dig into that
Very
too.
much so.
So, I mean, what would you say is the solution to that?
You know what? Honesty. Be real about the situation. Just because of who you are does not mean that you have to particularly like them. Some people, I feel as if, even to myself, will say that we are friends and will talk behind my back, but want to say that we are friends because of the simple fact that I'm becoming, somebody. And I have seen it plenty of times where there has been, oh yes, I love you, I love seeing you on stage, da 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 da. But then it turns into, that bitch's heels don't match. You can see her bra in the back. Like, those are things that you don't cattishly say to your friend on the side. If you want to say those things, you can bring it to your homegirl. That's how I feel.
I love you.
If that is your homegirl.
Yeah, I love you for saying that, because you know what? I was recently hosting something and I was talking to someone on the side and about judging, and he was saying, you didn't look for this, you didn't look for that. And I was like, I don't think we should stop looking for things that are wrong with people. You know what I mean? And start looking for the positive, out of what we're doing, especially like being on stage takes a lot of courage, because, we all three of us, we done been there. We done been there, karaoke. We done been there doing all types of forms of entertainment. So it takes a lot of courage, but also as well, we are a minority community. And I love our two guests are kind of seeing what I saw when I first moved here, that there's a lack of unity. For some reason, there's a division of, what someone prefers. I don't know what it is, but I agree with both of you. We should really start supporting each other, because all we got is us. We have what's going on in Florida. We have what's going on in Florida right now. And you know what? In order to fight something like that, this little petty bullshit we got going on isn't going to save the world. It isn't. But coming together and being honest about perhaps problems that we have with each other. That's why I created this show. If we have some issues going on, why not talk about it in a constructive way and find a healthier solution? And you know what? I just took the time for the rest of that segment, but we'll be right back with Blue Dream and Dave Borman of Tampa Bay Gay Com for some hot topics. Like I was saying earlier, guys, if you're hearing this and you're in the way of Hurricane Ian. Please get out of the way. Stay up to date with the National Weather Service. And for more information about what's going on in our Bay Area, please look up TampaBayGay.com for what's going on in your neighborhood. We'll be right back. Yeah, let's get into the hot topic. All right. So, last week, in a now lawsuit, New York meteorologist Erick Adame, formerly of New York Spectrum, New York One, alleges he was fired after an unidentified source leaked screenshots of him from an adult webcam site to his boss and his mama. Take a look at this little clip.
And what I did was something that really I intended to be private. I never spoke about it at work, obviously. And now it's not. And that was actually beyond my control, which is the other part of this, is someone took that and then sent it to my employer, which inevitably now makes it not private.
That's a little bit of what we saw. So I kind of want to ask you guys, I looked into this. There's a little bit of a morality clause, right, in his contract, which is, if you don't know, if you're unfamiliar with that, it's basically a clause in the contract it expects you to behave in a certain way that wouldn't bring scandal to the other party, which is usually your company. I want to ask you guys, should he have been fired for this, or should he be reinstated? I'm going to go to Angelique. How do you feel?
I think that at the end of the day, this is a blatant misuse of a little bit of power. I think if he was into bondage, if he was into any other fetish, if he was into anything in the world, if he went to Folsom, if he went to any other event in the world and somebody took a picture of him there and sent that to the employer, it's not something that was publicly done. He didn't post it to his profile. He wasn't sharing it publicly. He wasn't out doing it. He didn't get drunk and drive and hit 4 kids. He didn't run around with his penis outside waving it at the police. You know, he was doing something that was a personal pleasure in his own time, in his own space. And if he decided to do it on a website that has obvious security protocols to protect him, then no, it's not against the rules here. He wasn't doing anything that anybody else hasn't done throughout the pandemic with the start of OnlyFans and Just for Fans and every other kind of fan. And people are allowed to do that. And if they want to run that as a secondary business and or as a fun time, that is their right. And that can't be held against them. So in my opinion, he should be reinstated. And if you make some extra money from this, go ahead, baby, because that's you. Do what you do. And I'm not mad at you. I think it's fine. I think that there's always such a high negative connotation to people having sex as if sex isn't something that we do. And then sexual acts are still a part of that. And he wasn't doing anything wrong outside of what he was doing. Technically, it wasn't like he was sleeping with kids or some shit like that. He's by himself on a cam, like whatever.
Matt
He's pleasuring
Gates.
himself. Let him eat his cake, goddammit. It's his cake, nobody else's, right? That's just how I feel. But yeah.
According to what he was saying, he didn't want. Anyways, I ain't gonna enough about cake. Let me go to Dave. Dave, he wanted them to do something else, but Dave, let me go to you. How do you feel?
Well, to start, I do completely agree with you. I think that for anybody, I mean, in this day and age, if you're not hurting anybody, I don't see why it's a big issue for you to do whatever you do in your privacy of your own home. I really don't think it's anybody's business. You know, just because you don't like it, too bad. Get over it. But where I do come into play is that, and I'm going to quote this, I actually copied this out of the Advocate interview I was reading, or article I was reading. And it says that in this situation, I think he really hurt himself because, and I quote this, he was in his home and brazenly posted his address and his phone number, also mentioning where he worked by adding a written tattoo, I guess like handwriting a tattoo of New York One on his body, and then saying he wanted to fuck his boss. So, and that somebody needed to fulfill that need. So for me, I was totally on board until you said where you worked, you gave your address, and then you included your boss. Now, how do you go back to work in that environment without sexual harassment coming to the table. So I think maybe suspension in the beginning, but after finding out all that, if it is true, now if it is true, I haven't seen the video, so I have no idea.
Right.
But if it is true, I definitely think that he should be fired for that, because I don't think as a boss I could look at him the same way, knowing that's what he wants to do. But more power to him for feeling so free to say that.
Let's go to Blue. Blue, what do you think?
The funny thing is, I agree with both of them. Because I'm on Team Angelique when it comes to, if this is what the man wants to do when he's at home, enjoying himself, being himself, then if it had nothing to do with the job, then he should not be fired. There should be no discussion about it. That photo should have actually been looked at and then deleted, because why are we sending this in the first place? But at the same time, I do believe I do agree with Dave here, because I saw that quote as well, and I saw the information as well. He put his job on his body. He let it be known where he was, and he also said that he wanted to fuck his boss. So if you're saying all of that, and you're expecting no backlash, then I'm surprised. But if it was the simple fact of he only had just the videos and the pictures and everything like that, then no, he should not be fired. So I do agree that there should be a suspension, which is treating him as if it's a timeout to give him time to think about what he did.
I'm going to come in before we go to a roundtable, but I kind of see it as, I don't think that he should have been fired because of how it was discovered, because it wasn't like he was sharing this publicly. Really, he was sharing this privately with the expectation that it's private, and we have a lot of times that we'll put something that where we work on, let's say Grindr, on Grindr or whatever, or Tinder, even, what have you, because I would have to think, would he have been fired if he was a straight guy? I don't think so, because I don't think he was doing anything that was unconsensual, because like I said, an unidentified source sent this into his boss in order to hurt him. He has some enemies out there. He has to be honest about that. But I don't think the way that it was discovered, I think he's more of a victim than a perpetrator, because he's, like I said, it's supposed to be private, and he didn't have the expectation of anybody going out to not only send to his boss, but his mom as well. So it has to be someone in the circle that he may know. I know he put his a lot of information out there, but my question is, when do you have a personal life? Even being a public figure, but he's not like Kanye or anything like that, because he mentioned in the interview that as a public person, they're not treated the same way. But in my opinion, I don't think he should have been fired. I think as a victim, someone should have stood behind, the company should have stood behind him, because I know they were trying to mitigate backlash, but they were getting a lot of backlash for doing this.
Real quick, the whole thing about that is that if it was posted, if somebody had taken it and posted it to the internet and just shared it, even that would still be bad, because once again, he did this in privacy. And I have to mention it in terms of, if we were in a bar and we were all four sitting at the table and we were drunk, and baby Dave's like, girl, do you think Sean is attractive? I'd be like, hell yeah, Sean is attractive. I fuck Sean. Sean's so cute. That don't mean I'm gonna do it. I might say it's cute. I'd be like, yeah, I'd let him hit, I'd let him smash. Doesn't mean it's gonna happen. You know what I mean? There's conversations that happen, and if somebody overheard that, they may not have heard your part of the question, but they hear me go, oh yes, I want to smash Sean. That is what people, it's the telephone game. You're only telling part of the story, the context. If he's doing this as a way to maybe put on a persona, maybe he was putting on a performance. Maybe he's like, yes, I'm the news reporter today, and I'm going to tell you all the different things I work for. He's like, I'm that guy. Da, da, da. If he was in a cam room and he's putting on a thing, he's like, yeah, he's like, and just to prove it, he's like, if you got, and maybe somebody said, oh my God, your boss is so hot in the comments, and maybe his response was, oh yes, my boss is so fucking hot. Yes, if I had the opportunity, I would totally fuck my boss. Blah, blah, blah. If that's the case, the setup is unfair. If he just did this out, even if he planned it or did it in his head, this could have been a complete and total fantasy, and it's unfair to be to have something taken out of context, out of his control, not directly him responding, you know? It's just one of those things. I was like, hearing that, I was like, man, listen, I couldn't, devil's advocate. Now I say, go ahead, get your job back. Don't even work for them. Get the job back and then go work for somebody else. Go move to Minnesota or Montana or something and go where ain't nobody worried about the damn internet and go live your best life.
Dave, we got a minute.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think the biggest thing for sure is definitely look into that defamation, because there was somebody trying to ruin your background. So, and let me tell you, you may not get that job back, but if you get a good attorney and you can prove your case, that person, you're going to get a good job somewhere, and you're going to have a pretty good story to go with it. So, I mean, even though it's not the best position, we all make choices, and he just made the wrong choice at this time. And again, he probably wasn't expecting it to be what it was, but there you go. It's all out there in the public now.
And then Blue.
I believe that he definitely should not be fired. He definitely should not be fired. He should be spoken to regarding the simple fact of the comments that were made. However, whomever decided to go ahead and send that to not only his boss but his mother was maliciously trying to hurt him. So yeah, I'm on that defamation thing as well. He definitely needs to look into that and see why.
And they need their ass whooped too. I'm sorry, I'm going to say that. Nobody.
See, I didn't want to say that. I did not want to say that.
Shit.
I did not want to say it.
First of all,
because what you need to do is go find them.
He said it. He's like, I want to find this person. They're going to sue him, but I want to beat his ass because whoever the fuck did this shit, they want you to get fired, and he did. Now he's got to go through all this bullshit. Right. What? Really fast before we go. I did a video and somebody responded with some shit with my Grindr information in our comment section. And I said something. I'm like, wait, hold on. You're taking it to another level where it's not just personal, but you're taking my privacy out of my hands. And that's what this person did. And I think that's the one reason that saved his ass, because it's like, they not only they send it to your boss, he's not the president, he's the weatherman, and he fine as hell too. Okay. I'm in Florida, I could be on a plane, a hot skipping away. There's a hurricane. Don't worry about it. You're just going to blow over. We're going to be fine. I'm here. We can please come get me. Anyways, guys, that is
on the offhand that he did get fired. Like maybe, just maybe, the boss fired him so he could sleep with him. I'm just saying.
Stop it.
Maybe there's a silver lining. Maybe there's a silver lining.
That's real tea. No, that's the real tea.
Maybe he said, I can't. The only way we can handle this is if I let you go. I'll see you.
Somebody, I'm dead. All right, if I can't have you, no one will. All right, guys, that is his show. I want to thank you. Thank our guests for being here, Dave Borman from Tampa Bay Gay Com, and thank you for being our proud sponsor as well. And also, we have a Blue Dream. Thank you so much for being here. We're gonna have these two back. We're going to have these two back because it was getting in there. And like I was saying earlier, guys, with the hurricane coming up, if you're in the way, evacuate, please, and stay up to date with your trusted news source. And like I say, I always use the National Weather Service. And for what's going on in our LGBTQ plus Bay Area, please go to TampaBayGay.com. And like I always like to say, try to have a little bit more common courtesy. Until next time. See you later. Follow our podcast page, Common Courtesy TV, here on Facebook and YouTube for more conversations on love, sex, relationships, and commentary on the latest trending news.
And listen to us on multiple podcast platforms via commoncourtesytv.buzzsprout.com.